Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt. And one of the things I do enjoy doing on this channel is mocking modern feminism because it deserves to be mocked wholeheartedly all the time. Because it always degrades itself into petty politics and oppression Olympics and all sorts of nonsense that really doesn't benefit anyone but makes my job a lot fucking funner. So, Women's March happened day after the inauguration, and I will fully admit I miscalculated how many people were going to show up. Even here in Portland, there were like 22,000 people that RSVP'd on Facebook. Roughly, like somewhere between 70,000 to 100,000 showed up. Right? DC, you had 500,000. Los Angeles, you had 750,000. I mean, there were marches all over the world, but Portland is one of the larger ones. Okay, and there was there has been recently a bit of a dust up, a bit of a tiff amongst the organizers of the march. And guess what it's surrounding? Money. More importantly, profit. So what you had is you had a woman by the name of Margaret Jacobson, who is one of the organizers of the Women's March. She took to Facebook to air her grievances over roughly $17,000 worth of money that was missing. Right now, what this is in regards to are T-shirt sales from the Women's March. They sold like 3,800 of them, which equaled roughly about $17,000 in net profit. And she, well, basically wants part of the money. Now, leading up to the march, and this is where things get a little bit funny, there was kind of already a previous Civil War-esque, if you will, involving the Women's March Portland edition, its organizers, and the national founders on the East Coast. So it came out that some of the women who were organizing the Women's March here in Portland maybe weren't the most inclusive. According to some of the things I read, people kind of said they were from Eastern Oregon, which is more rural and would probably be more conservative, probably pro-lifers, not pro-choicers. And that would, again, cause some, maybe not the most harmonious experience. And so when the NAACP threatened to pull out, or I think they did pull out, from sponsoring the Portland Women's March, the women who were organizing it were kind of ousted from the nationwide leaders. And then you had the people from the this new group come in, which would be Margaret Jacobson and Rebecca Brewis, who is the leader of Portland Trans Pride, which apparently is a 501c3 nonprofit who also claimed to be, or agreed to be, the fiscal sponsor of the Portland Women's March, and who apparently now is holding all of this money because they didn't have themselves a written agreement of how the money would then be collected and dispersed and or spent. And that is what's causing this point of contention. Now, the Oregon Department of Justice is aware of this situation, but hasn't said if they were going to be launching a full-scale investigation into it. Margaret Jacobson wants them to launch an investigation into it because they're trying to figure out just what the fuck is going on with the money and basically why Rebecca Brewis has kind of broken off communication. And that's what always kind of cracks me up about this shit, is because these people will break apart at a moment's notice. If there's ever any bit of controversy, they will find ways to just destroy each other because, again, it's all about oppression Olympics. Now, Rebecca Brewis is a trans woman who tried a couple years ago to sue the state of Oregon after she used nail clippers to attempt to castrate herself while she was incarcerated for 70 months on a robbery charge. Failed, but according to other trans groups in Portland, she has caused a numerous amount of problems. So how she found herself as the fiscal sponsor of the Portland Women's March makes me really question who was vetting these people. And so now there's not a lot of other information that's out there. This is just more food for thought story, more of kind of a hysterical story, because you can't not laugh at the whole situation, right? You got feminists that were organizing the Women's March here in Portland that weren't the right kind of feminists. They ended up getting ousted when there was some controversy. The new group comes in, doesn't fucking cross their T's or dot their I's or follow any straight protocol, goes and does the event. The event is a huge success. There's lots of money on the table, and that money is basically now being hoarded by one person because Portland Trans Pride is a 501c3 run by one person. And so they're all trying to figure out what's going on. So we'll have to wait to see what happens. My theory is this. The Women's March national organizers are probably going to have to get involved. It's going to get legal. It's going to get messy. And it might end up actually kind of hurting the Women's March as a whole, because I have a feeling Portland isn't the only city something like this is taking place in. Somebody somewhere, I think, is making some money. But we might find out later on. Some people have argued George Soros is behind all of this, but if they're fighting over 17,000, Who knows what else is at stake here? But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Go ahead and write them down in the comments below. My name is, of course, Mundane Matt. If you guys haven't already, thumbs up the channel. Subscribe if you're new, and check back often for more content from me. All right, everyone, have yourself a great day. Peace out.